How funky is your chicken? How funky is your chicken? How loose is your goose? Our goose is totally loose. So come on, all you movie fans. Come on, all your movie fans, and shake your caboose. Shake your caboose. You remember Buffy from like back in the day? Not the Buffy with Sarah Michelle Gellar, like the original Buffy with Tiffany Swanson, I believe her name is. Anyways, off topic. Today I want to answer some questions. I've got an iPad here that I just randomly got, and I opened up a bunch of Reddit tabs. I have not pre-screened the Reddit tabs. I've just opened them up directly from Google. I just typed in most common questions asked of physical media collectors. And I kind of want to answer some of these. The first one I'm going to start off with is Castex in Reddit. He has posted to the 4K forum, and I'm going to answer some of his questions as a collector. So let's see what he's wrote. 18 questions for physical media collection. Thought it would be fun to come up with some questions about everyone's movie collection. Don't stress about not knowing the answer, just skip. Have fun with it. Look forward to reading the comments. So of course I'm not going to do a comment, I'm going to do it in a video, so yeah. So okay, here, let's start off with the first one. How many movies do you own? This is a big question for a lot of physical media fans. A lot of us have varying size collections. But for me, I have something around 1,000, maybe in excess of 1,000 on 4K. Blu-rays, I think I have about 3,000, in excess of 3,000. And DVDs I haven't kept count of. But if I had to guess, I would probably say 1 to 2,000, maybe even 3,000 DVDs. And that's including the old collection that don't have covers anymore. So all up, I'm probably about 10,000 physical media titles. And that's not all individual, that's also including like editions. So like I might have the DVD version of Jurassic Park and then have it on 4K, so that'll count as 2. So that's my estimate, but I could have more, could have less. I don't know, I just know that this is about 1,000 4Ks. Blu-rays is about 4,000. And then DVD is whatever a DVD is. So yeah, pretty large collection. Let's take a look at the second question. What is the first movie you remember purchasing? Wow, that is a big one. I mean, I remember winning Casper on VHS back in the day, but I don't actually remember what I actually first purchased. The earliest one I can remember purchasing is Dragon Ball The Dead Zone. It was the 2005 release where they had redubbed it, and it was no longer the Ocean dub, it was Funimation dubbing it. So that's the first one I actually remember purchasing at Myer in town in George Street. That, well, not Myer, it was not David Jones, what's it called? It used to be called Grace Brothers. I remember purchasing it from Grace Brothers before it was Myer. That's the earliest one I remember. But I'm sure there's earlier ones before that. I probably did purchase other stuff before it. I just don't remember them. I also remember purchasing music a lot of the time as well. Oh, it's very hot in this room. Do you mind if I turn on the fan? Because it's very hot in here and I'm going to stand on that fan. So you're going to see a bunch of like thing moving here in a second. It's just the fan on because it's very hot. It's in excess of 30 degrees at the moment. Okay. What is your last movie? What is the last movie you purchased? That is a tough one. I have purchased a lot of DVDs, so I don't know about that. But if I'm going to 4K, I'm probably going to say it's one of the Marvels in my 4K. It's either the Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four, the newer ones. So if that's your thing, yeah, that's kind of what I purchased last. Why is it giving me weird gesture things on iPad? iPads are so weird. So what is the next movie you plan on buying? Jeez, the next movie I plan on buying is probably going to be either the Nightmare on Elm Street box set, because I am kind of eyeing it off. Also, if they end up bringing out a Marvel movie, like, you know, there's another Marvel movie coming out this year. I think it's Infinity War, or what's it called? It's Doom, but is it like Infinity War or not Infinity War? What's it called? I forget what it's called. But it's Doctor Doom's in it, and it's like whatever it is. I forget the title of it. But if that comes out on 4K, I'm probably going to purchase that. As I said, A Nightmare on Elm Street's probably up there in terms of what I'm looking at purchasing, but right now I'm not really... I think I've got enough. I don't really need to buy anything, really. Okay, what else? What movie would you like to be released on 4K? Scream 4. Where in the world is Scream 4? And if that comes out soon, that'll be my next purchase. Scream 4 will be my next purchase because they got Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3, Space, Scream 5, Scream 6. Where is Scream 4? Okay, that was a bit of a rant. Which decade do you own the most movies of? Ooh, I'm going to estimate and say 90s. Just because 90s I have a fond memory. Could be the 60s as well. Like I got a lot of old school westerns in here. But I'm going to say the 90s, unless I'm counting like 2000s because, you know, there's Marvel and MCUs. But it's hard to know exactly which decade. But I'm going to say, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I've got a bit of everything. It's kind of broad. But I would say maybe the 2000s or late 90s, something like that. What is the rarest movie you own? Wow, that's a hard one. I'm probably going to lean towards singular. I'd probably say the Dawn of the Dead box set. That's pretty rare these days, I know. I've got the Bruce Lee box set up the top. That's pretty rare. Yeah, I don't think I have a singular most rare title that I can sell and get hundreds of thousands of dollars for. I did end up opening the Crow though. This was a pretty rare one. I did end up opening it because I was like, you know what? I'm never selling my Crow, so why am I leaving it sealed? I want to watch it. So I did open it up and it looked pretty awesome on 4K. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say what the single most expensive thing is or the most rarest one I've got is. I mean, Bad Boys was for a bit of time rare. So it's hard to know what's rare and different regions have different rarity. So yeah, I mean, in terms of Australia, you can't really get the Disney movies in Australia anymore, so they could be rare even. So it's hard to know what rare is really, but you know, just look around my collection, you can probably determine it. I mean, the Columbia Classics as a whole, they're pretty rare. The 24 box set is highly rare. That's very rare. That is a Japanese import. You can't get that in any other part of the world. So that's on Blu-ray. All the seasons on Blu-ray. Yeah, subjective. And I'm breathing heavily because it's very hot. And yes, I've got a fan on and it's really doing nothing. Okay. What movie do you have the most versions of? Titanic. Hands down. I've got probably 24 VHS tapes of Titanic. I've probably got about 20 titles, 20 discs of Titanic, or 20 individual DVDs of Titanic. I've got probably about 2, 3, maybe 4 Blu-rays, and I've got 2 4Ks. So Titanic by a mile. Yeah. What question are we at here? Number 9. What is the best looking movie you own? It's got to be a toss-up between either 2001: A Space Odyssey or Interstellar. Those movies look phenomenal on 4K. The Dark Knight also looks phenomenal on 4K. The Nolan movies typically look good on 4K because of that big IMAX negative, so it's pretty cool. So I'd say probably the Nolan movies or 2001. What is the best sounding movie you own? Best sounding? That's a hard one. I recently watched Straight Outta Compton again, and the sound in that is phenomenal because especially when they got that "We Want Izzy" scene. Like, I was rewatching that over and over again in that scene, and I was like, man, the bass goes hard. Like Dre gave Izzy the hard beats back in the day. Like those beats, that really elevated Izzy as well back in the NWA days. So I mean, the music movies are always going to sound well. Grease as well. Grease is up there as well. I don't know where Grease Lightning is. It could be Grease Lightning. But yeah, Grease also sounds phenomenal on 4K. And also this, I've seen the bitrate on this because I've opened up, my player is a UBA20. So the bitrate I've seen get up to 125 megabits per second or whatever it is. Just because, yeah, it's very high functioning disc. Very good. And yeah. What 4K movie do you recommend people to have? What 4K movie? That's a hard one. Obviously 2001. Reference quality 2001. If you want a reference quality disc, 2001. Or Interstellar. Interstellar also looks great, but in terms of if you really want to see it shining as well. The Shining is a great movie on 4K. But I'm going to say 2001: A Space Odyssey. It just looks phenomenal on 4K. Do you buy new, used or mixed. I kind of do mixed. So a lot of this collection was collected through like CEX, and a lot of it was also JB Hi-Fi. So you see a lot sealed, there's a lot that's unsealed, there's a lot of mixed in. So just a bit all over the place. And then DVD and Blu-ray all over the place, like CEX, Salvos, wherever I can get them really. As long as they're a good deal, I'm always in. What actor do you own more movies of? What actor? Probably, I'm going to say Clint Eastwood. Just a hands down. Has to be Clint Eastwood. I love Clint Eastwood's work. I love him as a director. I would have to say Clint Eastwood. It's just something that I've been a big fan of Clint Eastwood for a very long time, and I mean, I do enjoy his work. What actress do you own the most movies of? That's a hard one, because most of the time they used to have leading ladies of Hollywood. I mean, it's hard to say, really. It's very hard to say which lady I own the most of. I mean, Scarlett Johansson, if I'm counting the MCU, I mean, I could count Scarlett Johansson. But I don't think you want to hear that. I mean, maybe Sigourney Weaver? Perhaps Sigourney Weaver. Or even Jamie Lee Curtis, because I've got a lot of Jamie Lee Curtis as well in this collection. I don't know, maybe a bit of other people in here, maybe a bit of other ladies, leading ladies of Hollywood. But for right now, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say Jamie Lee Curtis, perhaps, or even Sigourney Weaver. What director do you own more movies of? In terms of overall quantity of things, even if it's multiple of the same, Cameron. If it's individual movies from that director, probably Clint Eastwood, or, yeah, I'd have to say Clint Eastwood. Or maybe Nolan, if we're going off not an actor, but, you know, actor/director, or if we're going off solely director, maybe Nolan. But, yeah, hard to say. What TV do you have? What TV? I have an LG C9. It was top of the range in 2019 when I bought it. It was the best TV in the world at the time. I bought it at the best time. And yeah, it was right before I bought it. Oh, that era of things, sorry. I might have to mute that part. But right before that 2020 era, I might have to mute the reference because YouTube doesn't like that word. But yeah, I bought it, an LG C9, right before 2020's period thing started. What sound system do you own? I don't own a sound system. I live in an apartment, and having blasting sound systems is just not viable. So I connect my Bluetooth AirPods to the TV and listen through that. Now, when I do move, I do eventually am looking at getting a sound system and having when I do have a house or something, that will be the option. But for right now, it's just not viable for apartment living to have a blasting, blaring sound system. So yeah. And then what video player do you own? The UB820, that's the one that I own, the disc player. I also have a PS5, I have an Xbox One X, so I've got a couple of players there. I've also got other DVD and Blu-ray players that I can test if I ever get stuck and just need to test the disc. I've also got ones that connect to my MacBook, my laptop. I've got all these sort of devices. I've got them all, so I've got enough there to play a disc if I get stuck. And that's enough from, what's his name? Castex on the 4K Blu-ray forums from a year ago on Reddit. Let's see what other tabs I've opened up. Let's see if there's any other individual questions. Okay, I've got one from Solid619, obviously a Rey Mysterio fan, and it's in the movies Reddit. I'm just really so yeah, I don't know. I'm just really interested in your buying habits and how you choose what to buy. I've got a lot of DVD Blu-rays from when I was growing up, and I've salvaged to stop my family getting rid of them, and over the last year I've decided to start buying more, a bit fairly select for now, whilst I create some more spaces. And my reading is pretty terrible, but stick with me. My questions are really, what do you collect physically? Do you get your favorites? Do you just get your favorites or things you have seen before, or do you take a risk on stuff you have not seen before? I'm not going to read the full thing. Are you religiously buying them up above it? I'm not going to read the full thing. But yeah, this is a point of contention in my collection. I have collected everything, even movies I don't even like. I've bought a lot back in the day just on the off chance of watching it. If it was a good deal, I picked it up. But a lot of it was collected on habit. A lot of it was like, oh, good deal. I'm probably going to check out this movie, so why not pick it up? And a lot of that is building a catalogue that rivals streaming services. So I built a lot of this through habit. And there is a lot that I love in here. There's also a lot that I don't like. And that's talking about, I've done videos recently about the bloat of the collection and downsizing and stuff like that. That's where I'm kind of stuck at the moment. I'm still like looking at what I like versus what I don't like. Like I have Dungeons and Dragons here. I've never seen it. I don't even know how to play Dungeons and Dragons. I know that's probably shocking to some of you, but I bought this one because people were saying it's a good movie, and it was probably cheap enough for the digital, what's it called, the Steelbook. So I was probably got it for cheap enough, and I was like, you know what? For that, I'll probably end up paying that. That sounds like good. I've also got Dune here that I've never watched. Probably surprising to some of you. But yeah, what was the second part of that question? There was another part. What do you collect physically? I collect everything physically. I collect just about everything. And I don't think there's anything else really here that is on that tab. Let's check the next tab. This one is from the Letterboxd forum on Reddit. King Spooky 93. People who collect physical media, how do you choose what goes in your collection? How do I choose? Are there classics or rare films you're trying to find? Yep. Okay, so I don't collect physical media. I'm just curious for the people who do. How do you decide what to put in your collection? Is it just movies you enjoy? Are there classics or rare films you look for or try to find? So on and so on. So, in terms of that, I have a preference. And my preference is older movies from a period where it's kind of what you'd see in a video shop. So like, Clint Eastwood was very big, you'd see stuff like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in the Western section. So even the way I've arranged it kind of resembles a video library at a video shop, like a Video Easy or a Blockbuster. I arrange it by categories, then alphabetically within their categories. So, or genres, I should say. So I collect a bit of everything, and I like to have optionality. So I like to have, okay, I might not have watched Halloween all the way through the series. I mean, I do prefer number one. I do like number one, but I haven't went beyond number one. But I do have all the Halloween series, so that if that spark hits like that, I have it available to me, if you understand that. It's kind of like, I like optionality, but I have a bit of everything. I collect a bit of everything, but also I try to look for a good deal. When a good deal's there, I try to take advantage of it. And I think that was the only question from that one. Yep, let's go to the next tab. This one is from Boutique Blu-Ray, and the user has been deleted. Let's just see what this user said anyways. To the other collectors, questions about collecting. When did you guys decide to start to collect Blu-rays and or DVDs? Do you even know an exact date? What was your first movie? And do you just buy movies as you go, or do you have a system like starting over with silent films, or starting only with silent films, then going through the golden era and so on? How do you recommend to start with? That's actually a really good question. So what I would recommend to start with is your favorites. Always start with your favorites. If you know you're going to watch Titanic 500 times in a row, start with your favorite. You're going to get the most use out of it. Start with your favorites. And always go, if you want your favorites, yes, you can look at a salvos, try to get a good deal, but it's your favorites. Put a bit of effort into getting the collector's version, the version that you know you're going to love because it is a reflection of you. That's what I would say about that. In terms of collecting habits over like, I just need to get clarity on that question a bit more. So, do you know exact dates when you started collecting? Obviously, 2005, I think I bought the Dragon Ball, the Death Zone at George Street. What's it called? It was called what was it called? Grace Brothers. I remember buying it at Grace Brothers back in the day for like $30, $29.99, and this was when it first came out. The Funimation redub, not the Ocean dub. And yeah, that's the earliest one I remember collecting, 2005 era. And I think I still have the receipt for that somewhere. But yeah, a lot of it is, I've got the receipts from like 2006. This is like the earliest iteration of my collection. Then I picked up a lot from when the video shops were shutting down. Picked up a lot from like cash converters back in the day when they were going out for like $6 for a disc. And then just over time, that initial collection got tore down and I made a mistake with that. Recollected. The second iteration of my collection that I call like the current setup, that started from about 2019. So I went digital for a couple of years between like 2016 to 2019. So I went digital for like solely digital for about 3 years, but I had my discs in binders and stuff. And yeah, it's up to you how you want to collect. If you want to go back to the silent eras, as long as you're going to watch them, and yeah, I know that's sounding hypocritical from me because I collect everything and barely watch half of it, but if you know you're going to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, or you know you're going to watch, I don't know, Smallville or whatever, TV show, then go out and buy your favorites. If you know you're going to watch them, it's subjective. Go and buy your favorites. And then after your favorites, then you say, oh, okay, maybe exploration. If you see a movie in the dollar bin at the Salvos, or a dollar bin at Savers or wherever, or Goodwill in America, then pick it up then. If you know you're going to maybe watch it, pick it up. Doesn't hurt to pick it up for $1. But always start with your favorites. I'd say always start with your favorites. This one's from the Letterboxd forum. New Cheesecake 3858. Yeah. Physical media collectors, what are some notable items in your collection? So, there is a few notable items in my collection. Obviously, Columbia Classics, front and center. I think that's a lot of people look at that as like, oh, that's probably the most expensive thing in the collection in terms of all of them together. Up the top is the Bruce Lee collection. I've got the Sony 30 anniversary, 30 pictures. I've also got a Dragon box over there. I used to have the Dragon boxes here, but I sold the Dragon boxes because I wasn't watching them. I got the 24 from Japan, so that's a hard one to get. Yeah, there's a bit of everything in this collection. It's like, obviously, Dawn of the Dead. I've got Caligula down here that I've never watched. I probably don't know if I would watch it. But, yep, I bought that. I haven't watched it, but I know it's a very rare one. I know people like to get their hands on that one if they can. I've got the Hitchcocks over here. I've got the Hitchcock movies over here. So, I don't know if you can actually see them. But down there, Hitchcock movies down there. There. And this tripod's going to start falling in a second because it's really crappy and I need to put another bolt in it. It's going to fall. I know it's going to fall. But, yeah. There's a bit of everything in my collection. Bit of rarity with everything. And, yeah. Let's see. I think I've got one more tab to look at. Considering starting a collection of physical media, need advice. This is from the DVD collection Reddit, and the profile's been deleted. Hi all, I'm considering purchasing all of my favourite movies on physical media. My only conflict is whether to start collecting Blu-ray or DVD. Any recommendations? Can anyone recommend one or the other, and why? Okay, this is a point of contention. I'm going to end it here because, yep, this is a point of contention. DVD versus Blu-ray versus 4K. What should you go with if starting out as a collector? I am going to say DVD. And I know, I'm the 4K guy. I've got a lot of 4Ks. But hear me out. If you're a new collector and you don't know if collecting's for you, there is no point dumping $30 per release into a 4K collection until you know it's what you're after. Now, some of you might say, oh, well, it's just waste of money. If I'm intending to buy the DVD, then I'll need to upgrade and then that's double purchase. What's the point of that? If you don't know if you want to collect, I recommend trying out with DVD first, picking up your favorite movies, and then if you watch the Titanic or whatever on 4K on DVD and then you say it's not good enough for me, then I'll go and buy the Blu-ray. That's the way to do it. And I know I did it differently, but if I was to redo this, I'd say like, oh, I've got True Lies on DVD. I probably don't need the 4K, but it would look nice to have the 4K. But then also watch reviews and all that other stuff. It's up to you how you want to collect. It's your collection. It has to be a reflection of you at the end of the day. And what I would say is, when I look around this collection, I look at a lot of stuff that's bloated in the collection because I added a lot that I'm never going to watch. I probably won't watch just because it was a good deal. At least with DVD, you can get in at a cheaper cost. And look, it's not going to look pristine on a 4K TV. Now, upscaling is very good this day and age. But really, a lot of people are just going to have it there as a backup for streaming. It's not going to be used as religiously watching like I do. It's going to be used as, oh, the internet's down at the moment. I guess I'll have to watch a DVD. What do I want to watch? That's why I keep saying throughout this video, get your favorites first. If you know you're going to watch Titanic whenever the internet goes down, buy Titanic. If you know you're going to watch 2001 when it goes down, get 2001. And the great thing is, a lot of DVDs are getting donated to places like the Salvos, so you can pretty much pick up a lot of the MCU here for like $1 a piece at the Salvos. And you see a lot of the MCU out because it was mass-produced. MCU is very readily available. The Marvel movies are readily available. DC is readily available. So you can get a lot of those for pretty cheap, like $1 a disc at the Salvos, or CEX, like $2 a disc for Star Wars, you know? You can get a lot of those stuff, and I've showed this one recently, but you can get a lot of these for like $1 or $2 a piece, you know? Look at this. This is a limited edition for $2. And yes, I need to take the sticker off, but I don't want to damage the box. That's kind of why I'm kind of like, you know, trying to get it off. Another way to do it also with these stickers is you kind of got to pull it very gently, so you don't want to rip up any of the box. But as I said, it's very hard to get these stickers off because they make them rip really weird. But as you see, like they make them so you can't really take them off in the store, but I don't think they really think through the collector value of it. But when I look at this, I would say DVD. Choose DVD first. It's subjective if you want to do that, but I would say DVD first. Just because you don't know what you want to do with your collection. DVD, you have the advantage of saying, this doesn't work for me, I've only got $1 into it, let's go and upgrade now. Versus, if you put $40 into a 4K and then you say, I don't really like this 4K, you're 40 out of pocket. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or even with a Blu-ray, you might be paying 20, sometimes 10. That's 10 times $1, you know? Start with DVD at the op shops and stuff like that. Doesn't hurt. You're a collector starting out with your collection. It doesn't hurt to try DVD first. And then you upgrade. Then you say, oh, I like Terminator 2, I might go and buy that. Or if you know you're going to get a lot of use out of it, if you know that it's going to be one of your favorites, then go to the Blu-ray or then go to the 4K. But also the players, you've got to keep in mind the players. Blu-ray players are pretty relatively available these days. 4Ks are somewhat relatively available. They're in the PlayStation, the Xbox, or most of them. But also, they're not like, hey, I can go and pick up like a $50 player in an old PS3. It's not as easily accessible as like, oh, I can go and get a DVD player for $5 at the Salvos. You know what I'm saying? It's not that accessible in terms of a player for cheap. And you've got to be aware of the player as part of it. Let me know what you think. Did this help you guys? Did you like to hear this video about me answering some random Reddit questions? I figured it'll be fun. Figured change it up from the same old, and I'll put a couple of videos here and you can watch them both. I'll just stand in the middle and stare menacingly at you and tell you to watch one of them because I like to see older videos doing well as well. I don't like just making all the same old videos to rehash titles. Watch them both. This or that. Both of them. And if the things aren't on screen, it's going to look ridiculous. Put your fingers and do the twist. Hey, hey.